Recorded Books presents Tucket's Ride by Gary Paulsen. Narrated by John Randolph Jones.
Chapter 1. Francis Tucket lay on the ridge and watched the adobe hut 100 yards away and slightly below him. He had his rifle resting on a hump of dirt, the sights unmoving, pointed at the doorway to the hut. "Are we going to stay here forever? I mean, it's really cold. I've been cold before, but not like this." A small girl and boy stood 10 yards to his rear with the horse and mule, all hidden below the level of the ridge. "It just seems that since you haven't seen anything, we could go down there and get warm. There might be a stove." "Please be quiet, Lottie." Francis turned and held his hand out. "Now, we're going to wait. I heard something somewhere down there that sounded like a scream. We're going to wait and watch. Be quiet." There was a horse in front of the hut, tied to a half-broken hitch rail. Some chickens walked around the sides, pecking at the dirt. There was no dog. 3 goats were tied to stakes in back of the house. The horse had a familiar saddle on its back, military cut, with the bedroll in front. The horse didn't look wet, so it hadn't worked hard getting here. Then, too, Lottie was right. It was cold, so the horse wouldn't show much sweat. All this went into Francis's eyes and registered in his thoughts automatically, along with the direction of the wind, the fact that a coyote was off to the side a couple of 100 yards away eyeing the chickens, and a hawk was circling over the yard doing the same thing. All of it in and filed away. There. A scream, short but high. Not a man, maybe a child or a woman. Well, that was all Francis thought. Well, if it was somebody needing help, he was in a bad place to give it. One 15-year-old boy, a young girl and a boy with him, a horse and a mule, and 1 rifle. Still, he couldn't stay and not help. It's what he got for not going west, he thought, for not taking the 2 children and just heading out along the Oregon Trail to find his parents and the wagon train he had been kidnapped from almost 2 years ago. He and the children had made a good start west, then had gotten sidetracked as they crossed the prairie, and before he knew it, an early fall had caught them short of the mountains. Snow had filled all the passes. Somebody at a trading post on the trail had said that there was a southern route down in Mexico that stayed open all year. So Francis had started south. They couldn't hope to winter in the northern prairies. He hadn't realized that taking on Lottie and her little brother Billy would slow him down so. He had found them alone on the prairie after their father had died of cholera. It had grown warmer as they had moved south along the mountains. Still cold at night, but they had picked up some wool blankets at the trading post, and Lottie had sewn pullover coats for all of them as they moved down into the territory belonging to Mexico. There, he heard a thump, then a scream. "You 2 stay here," he called softly to Lottie, "and I mean stay here. I'll be back." He slid to the left where there was a thin brush line and followed it down to the hut. The building did not have a window, which was good, because the brush line was sparse scrub oak, and the goats had long before stripped away the leaves. Now Francis was barely concealed and ran quickly, trying to keep his moccasins quiet. He held himself still at the side of the hut, listening. Again, a muffled sound. He checked the cap on his rifle, cocked it, and moved to the side of the door. He was 5 feet from the door when he noted that the saddle on the horse had a large U.S. stamped on the sides, and the horse had the same brand on its shoulder. It was a United States cavalry mount. Half a question formed in his mind. What was a United States cavalry mount doing in Mexican territory? When the door blew open and a young woman ran out, a large man behind her, he grabbed her shoulders. "Get back in here!" Half a second. Her eyes were wide with terror. She had a scuff on her face.